Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today I'm talking about Jalen Ramsey, the Rams, and the situation that is essentially current right now. Before we dive into it, though, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. And yeah, let's get started. So, Jalen, right? Jalen Ramsey and the Rams definitely have mutual interest. There is no doubt about it. People that I've spoken with have told me as such that Jalen Ramsey wants to be a Ram. The Rams want Jalen. Now, obviously, Jalen Ramsey could want to be a member of other teams as well, but there's interest there on both sides. So let's start off with the beginning. From McVay's point of view, from the Rams' point of view, McVay said he would never close the door on the possibility of adding someone of Jalen Ramsey's caliber, and added, quote, "There's not a whole lot that I have to offer. You know, there's a lot of layers with something of that magnitude when you're talking about the caliber of the player, the compensation that they're looking for in return. What does that look like in terms of how they want to handle what he's actually do? Obviously, we love Jalen. We know Jalen intimately. There would be some things that we would need to be able to do if that was going to be a direction that we went. We certainly haven't closed the door on that, but there hasn't been a whole lot of dialogue as of late in regards to some of the communication. And so we'll see if that changes, but these things can happen quickly. But it's really kind of same. It's kind of same as it was a couple of weeks ago. Okay, sorry, end of quote. And that was a lot. But the point being is that Sean McVay and the Rams clearly are not squashing the interest on Ramsey. They're not sitting here and saying, yeah, that'd be nice, but it's not going to happen, right? This feels very similar to what Sean McVay said about Akello Witherspoon, how he really liked coaching him and kind of kept the door open on him. And he said the same thing about Darrell Henderson when they needed a running back in 2023 and they were dealing with injuries. And someone mentioned, what about bringing back Darrell? And he's like, I love coaching Darrell, all that, right? So he's shown this in the past. He's shown this about John Johnson. So Ramsey recently on his social media thanked all previous teams and teased a new chapter. So that is the table that has been set. Now I'm going to give you my take on everything. So starting off, again, I know both parties have mutual interest. It feels like the Rams are trying to leverage the Dolphins with the recent comments and reports. Peter Schrager, who's been very tapped in with the Rams, also said they're not exactly banging down the door to trade for Jalen Ramsey. I do feel like there's a serious leverage play here because I do feel like the Rams want him, but they want him on their terms. They're not going to outbid themselves. They're not going to lose a trade just to get him instead of having him go to another team. The Dolphins, on the other hand, seem hesitant to take on the money to make the deal work. They also want a good draft capital, a good bout of draft capital in return. So I believe teams are waiting for them to truly feel the effects of having Jalen Ramsey, that cap value, having him on the cap when he's not playing, and it's going to force them to lower their price. It's no different than you go to a garage sale and you have a bunch of buyers that want to buy something, but obviously the price is way too high. It's valuable, but the person that's selling it based on it's ridiculous, right? There, you have to meet in the middle, that's just the reality. If you want to come to a conclusion, if you want to come to an agreement, you want to get a deal done, both sides have to agree. So eventually another yard sale happens and another yard sale, and that item is still there, same price, not selling. And then eventually the owner just is like, okay, another yard sale, the price has gone down. Sure enough, somebody buys it. So that's essentially it. I'm not comparing Jalen Ramsey to used goods, but what I'm saying is that Jalen Ramsey is not 25. Jalen Ramsey does not have a rookie contract. This is a significant amount of money. The contract does have some language in it that is a little, it puts the Dolphins in a little bit of a bind because they have money that is deferred and all that. But Yeah, it's not as simple as just making a trade, and he's not a free agent. So if he goes to another team, it's not like he didn't want to go to the Rams. So Ramsey keeps saying new chapter. I think that either means one of two things. He either has accepted that he won't be returning to the Rams, or it could have nothing to do with that at all. It's really that simple. My feeling is that the Rams want Ramsey. Ramsey can want to return in LA. But if the Dolphins are unwilling to trade him for whatever reason, the Rams, he's not going there. And I feel like, again, it's really important to remember, just because Ramsey wants to go somewhere, like, this isn't free agency. The Dolphins are not the organization that the Rams are. They are not willing to take way less to make sure a player goes where they want to go. They don't care about that, okay? They're not going to do that. The Rams, they made sure once Jalen Ramsey wanted to go to the Dolphins, they made it happen. They took probably less than they could have gotten somewhere else. They've done that countless times. Robert Woods for pennies to go to the Titans. He wanted to go to the Titans. That's where he wanted to go. So they've done this. And they did it, essentially they did it with Cooper Kupp by cutting him and not getting anything in return for Cooper Kupp. But here's the deal, though. I don't think the Rams need Jalen Ramsey. I think there are people that are way too low on this secondary, and I get it. You've had an off season. Some people play Madden. Some people, they get really into the draft, and then they saw the Rams didn't take any corners, and they feel like it was total failure, whatever. But I think we have to be honest with ourselves when we look at the postseason, when their best was required. Ahkello Witherspoon, Kobe Durant, and yes, I know he gets a lot of flack, and I have something to do with that because I kind of put crosshairs on him during the season. Still love the guy, but he does not get enough credit for what he did in the postseason. Darius Williams. Those three were great. They were. Regardless of how you want to, word it or whatever, down the stretch, it wasn't just the playoffs, but the back half of the season, all of them played at a very high level. And it's kind of annoying how no matter how well they played, they're not big enough names. Ahkello's not your superstar name. He could have been, but he's never had a chance, one, to be like the guy. He's always been considered just a mercenary for teams. He doesn't get those long-term deals. He gets one-year deals, and he doesn't get a chance to compete in camp. Well, now, for the first time in, the entire career he has with the Rams, he's actually getting a full training camp to work with this team and develop, and I think that's going to be big. And then Kobe Durant, he's just not a big name. Kobe Durant had the explosion his rookie year, the turnovers. People were like, oh man, this guy's going to be good. And then he had some soft tissue injuries that kind of held him back. And now he's more of I would say a cover guy than a ball hawk, which it looked like he was going to be. He's a good football player. And then you look at Darius Williams, and down the stretch, he was a really good football player. And then they have Darion Kendrick, who, again, I'll always say, the Rams are higher on than you are. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Because people will say all the time, DK sucks. Okay, well, you can't have it both ways. Because there are people that say, trust Sean McVay and Les Snead, they know what they're doing. And then there's people that are like, yeah, trust Sean McVay and Les Snead, they know what they're doing, but I can't stand Darion Kendrick. He sucks. They're totally wrong about him. I don't think you can have it both ways. So, yeah, I'm excited about Darion Kendrick. There's been some really good reports about Emmanuel Forbes, and that gets me excited. They also have other guys that had opportunities last year that made the most of them, Josh Wallace, Charles Woods. So I don't have any issue at corner. And then obviously we can't talk about safety, right? That's the issue when you say secondary sucks or secondary is a weakness. The Rams are loaded at safety. They got 4 great safeties. I mean, Jalen McCullough is their 4th safety, and he could start on a few teams. He's a UDFA that they found that's just a really good football player. Didn't test particularly well, and that's why he, fell out of the draft. But I think people are really short selling the secondary. And another thing I'll say is go back to 2023, right? Go back to 2023, then go to 2024. You look at 2023, Kello was great in coverage, but Kello also was left on an island for most of the year, and he gave up not even half of his catches, had over 90 targets. A big thing with him is that, yes, they had Aaron Donald, but that pass rush was nowhere near as good as it was in 2024. And in 2024, when the pass rush took off, because keep in mind, what was the speed bump? The speed bump was Trey White. The speed bump were the injuries. Tre'Davious White, they were essentially scheming around to not expose him deep down the field. So they didn't even play their type of defense. And when you finally saw them get things going, they had a Keller where they want him, Darius Williams, Kobe, they were playing Quentin Lake and the star. Everything was good down the stretch. You started to see the defense and what it was supposed to be, the original vision. Okay? So now they don't have to do that. They already know who they want. It's not like they signed a guy that isn't going to work out. I could have told you Trey White was probably not going to work out. But that said, this is the biggest thing. This pass rush, if you believe that it is that good, you should not be this concerned about the secondary. The pass rush is going to get to the quarterback and force the quick pass. And if they don't, then the quarterback, like Sam Darnold did against the Vikings, is going to hold on to the football all day. And when he holds on to the football all day, it makes it really hard, right? Now, basically, when you have a really good pass rush, it combines with a secondary. Even if they're not a great secondary, you are shortening the amount of time a quarterback has to get the football to a receiver. That's just the reality of it. So, look, I want Jalen Ramsey as much as the next guy. I think Ramsey and Kello would be an incredible duo. But do the Rams need Ramsey to win a Super Bowl? No. He's an icing on the cake. And in a little bit of a sad way, I hate saying this, but he's kind of fan service. Because Rams fans love Jalen Ramsey. And Rams fans didn't want to trade him away, and I'm one of them. He is he is a Ram. I don't care what anyone says. When you look back on Jalen Ramsey's career, are you going to remember him as a Dolphin? No. Jaguar? No. You're going to remember him as a Ram. And that's what you're going to remember him as. So that's just how I see it. I see it as a little bit of fan service. Not saying he can't help the team out. I think he can absolutely help the team out. But they don't need him. They just don't. So I still think he ends up on the Rams. I just do. I feel like it's going to work its way out for whatever reason, somehow. But if he doesn't, it's okay. It is okay. If you want to be concerned about anything, they didn't really address offensive line as much as I would have liked them to. That's fair. But the secondary, they got a lot there. And again, what better barometer, right, to, figure out how good a cornerback room is than the playoffs against the likes of Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. These guys don't get enough credit. It's kind of BS, and so I'm calling it out, but those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I think Jalen Ramsey is still very, very good. He's still a number one corner-worthy player. But it takes two to tango. And at some point or another, if the Dolphins are just outrageous and they're not going to take on any money to make the deal work and they're going to ask for the same draft capital the Rams traded to them, I'm going to have to pass on that one. That is my rule. If the Rams are going to trade for Ramsey, they can't give the Dolphins more than the Dolphins gave them initially. He's older now. He's not as good as he was when he was on the Rams. Still very good, but he also comes with just an absolutely huge cap number. So the Rams can do it, but I'm not giving up top draft capital, and I'm definitely not going to take on the entire deal. The Dolphins have to meet somewhere in the middle. They have no leverage because this guy isn't going to play on this deal. He's not going to play for them. He doesn't want to be there. So we'll see. But anyway, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I do read every comment. I don't always get to every comment as you know. I get a lot. I'm not always able to respond. I try. But I read every comment. So definitely be sure to drop your comments on here because I'm very curious where you guys stand on Jalen Ramsey. I know some people really want him. Some people don't really care. Some people think he's washed. He's not washed, guys. I'm just telling you right now. And then some people think that the cornerback room is just an absolute mess and the Rams are screwed, that's not the case either. But let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the nine. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.